Good morning, everyone. This is Group 4D presented on freedom. This will be done by Sharifa, Jonathan, Thomas, Arde, Praveen, and myself, Danny. The topics we'll be covering are organizations, core activities, markets, competitors, product introduction, process, and professional registration. I'll now be handing you over to Sharifa.
Thank you, Danny. 3M was first known as the Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing Company and was founded in 1902 in Two Harbors by Henry Bryan, who became first company president, and 4 others. It began as a small-scale mining venture with the simple goal to harvest a mineral known as corundum from the Crystal Bay mine. Although the mine did not produce much corundum, the foundations of the company had already been set, and in 1910, the investor Lucius Ordway established their headquarters in St. Paul, Minnesota. The company has now been run since 2012 by Inga G. Fallon, who acts as chairman of the board, president and chief executive officer. 3M operates in 29 of the 50 American states, and as well as 70 countries worldwide. They sell their products in 200 countries and have laboratories in 36. Up until the end of 2015, 3M had nearly 89,500 registered employees, which is now increased to over 90,000 in 2016, and globally 3M have sales of $30.2 billion. 3M is subsidised into 65 offices spread over the 7 continents. As shown in the purple, Europe is the largest subsidiary, being home to 32% of 3M's offices, and here in the UK they're based in Crawley and Surrey. The 2 smallest subsidiaries are North America and Oceania, with offices in Canada and Australia respectively. 3M have participated in numerous mergers and acquisitions over the last 114 years, and examples of the previous 4 years are shown in the table. The most recent is the acquisition of StemFinder, a Switzerland-based coding technology company, which took place in September 2016 and will provide new technology to increase the availability of 3M's 360 Encompass system, which in countries which use electronic medical records. Other companies they've acquired include Polypore, Capital Safety, Ivera, Premier, and Ceradyne. As well as their numerous acquisitions, 3M also partnered up with rapper LL Cool J to launch an American contest in which young athletes got the chance to showcase their unique skills within their sports, with the winner being awarded an Ace Brand Sports Medicine product pack, which was timely linked to the launch of 3M's new product line called Ace Brand Sports Medicine Products. 3M keeps its ethical values at the heart of its organisation and was recognised by Ethisphere, a company designed to improve ethical standards in businesses, as the world's most ethical company in March 2016 for the 3rd consecutive year. Their strategies for sustainability recognise that customer satisfaction and commercial success are key values to any organisation, and therefore they abide by the following 3 principles. Environmental stewardship. This is where practical and effective solutions and products must be provided to address environmental challenges for themselves and their customers. Social responsibility means that they must communicate well with key stakeholders and act to improve 3M's sustainability performance and economic success. Here they build lasting customer relationships by developing differentiated, practical and ingenious solutions to their sustainability challenges. These company principles are summarised in their mission statement, which says, 3M is committed to actively contributing to sustainable development through environmental protection, social responsibility and economic progress. I will now pass you on to Jonathan.
As mentioned by Sharifa, 3M was originally formed as the Minnesota Mining Manufacturing Company to mine a mineral called corundum. Though the founders quickly found that there was insufficient corundum for the business to be profitable, they did 2 things that underpin the ethos of the company for the next 100 years. First, they undertook their first research, which enabled them to develop a sandpaper that was far superior to existing products. Secondly, having identified a new product that they believed would be more profitable, they diversified from a mining company to importing raw materials to manufacture their new design sandpaper. 3M is now a highly diversified company, producing nearly 60,000 products, many of which are well-known brands and extremely successful. An important measure of any company's success is its accounts. And as mentioned by Sharifa, last year's accounts showed $30 billion of revenue and $15 billion of profit. Research in new technology and developing new products is core to the company, to the point that it invests nearly 6% of its revenue, $1.7 billion, on research and development, leading last year to 565 new patents in the US and over 3,000 worldwide. At its core, the company operates with a culture of innovation, customer focus and diversified technologies. A good example of this is the car which 3M sponsors in the American NASCAR series. Not only does 3M benefit from the marketing and brand awareness, but the car enables them to work with the customer to test many of their diverse products in a high-performance environment. This opportunity is described by 3M as being a laboratory for winning and enables 3M to get direct feedback from the customer, which can then feed into further development. As well as opportunities to work with customers like this, the bulk of development of new products and technology was undertaken in the labs the company has in 36 countries, which employ over 8,000 researchers worldwide. The groups and departments within the company are encouraged to share their resources such as technological, manufacturing and marketing. In the UK, the UK and Ireland are an important part of 3M's global reach, with the UK having been the company's first expansion outside of the US, and now home to over 2,500 employees and 20 sites. As mentioned by Sharifa, like many companies these days, sustainability is a core theme of 3M's activities, and they focus on economic success, environmental protection, and social responsibility. Some of the ways in which 3M achieves these goals are through making manufacturing processes more streamlined, designing products that are more efficient, and supporting charities and programs that support the environment and combat pollution. For example, 3M has developed a fluid that uses 95% less energy to cool computer hardware, an aluminium composite that can be used as the core of power lines that carry twice as much power at half the weight, and a scouring pad for washing up that uses 50% natural fibres. 3M's efforts in sustainability have been recognised by organisations such as the US government, Dow Jones and the UN. The company is split into these 5 business groups. The consumer group produces a vast array of products that keep homes and offices clean, organised and well maintained. The electronics and energy group contributes to reliable sources of power, high-performance electronic devices, telecommunications networks and improving renewable energy. The healthcare group aims to improve quality of care through medical and oral care products, as well as systems for drug delivery and health information. The industrial group designs products for an incredibly diverse range of markets, including tapes, abrasives, adhesives and filtration systems. Lastly, the safety and graphics group develops products aimed at increasing the safety, security and productivity of people, facilities and systems, as well as enhancing the visual impact of graphic solutions. Of the 60,000 products produced by 3M, many are well-known household brands. As a quick test, does anyone here not recognise any of the brands shown here? The few displayed here show not only that they are well known, but also the breadth of sectors in which the company produces goods. First, we have surgical products such as micropore tape and stereostrip dressings. Then, the ubiquitous Post-it brand, under which there are now more than 4,000 other products. The Scotch brand range, offering features and tartan on their packaging, includes tapes, cleaning cloths and protective coatings to be applied to products as varied as cars and shoes. Lastly, from this small sample of some of their core products, there is Thinsulate, which is a lightweight insulation used in many outdoor coats. By way of summary of 3M's core activities, their stated focus is on aiming to explore, connect and invent, which is actually very similar to the intentions of the founders over 100 years ago. I'll now hand you over to Thomas.
As of August 2016, 3M's market capitalisation of $180 billion and has a market share of around a market share that fluctuates around $180. Industrial adhesives and chemicals provides the largest percentage of stock value for each business group at 31%. This is followed by medical supplies and dental products at 22%, safety and graphics at 19.3%, electronics and energy at 14.7%, and finally posters, consumer and office products at 12.2%. For the revenue for each business group, industrial adhesives and chemicals is also the largest. In 2015, it saw revenues of $10.5 billion. The smallest revenue belongs to the posters, consumer and office products group, had revenue of $4.4 billion. Finally, in terms of the percentage of total revenue for each business group, industrial adhesives and chemicals is also the largest at 30.3%. This percentage is expected to rise in the future, and for the smallest businesses, the percentage are expected to decrease, with electronics and energy seeing the largest decreases. By consistent innovation and focus on research and development, 3M has 33% of 3M sales. 33% of 3M sales are generated by products which have been launched in the past 5 years. In the medical supplies and dental products business group, high profit margins have high profit margins as a result of consistent innovation and patent protection contributed significant value to 3M. Increasing living standards in emerging economies is also as expected to lead to demand for products across all business groups, and cheap prices, the relatively low prices of oil and gas should allow 3M to cut expenses and produce profit margins. Rapidly advancing markets like technology and healthcare are leading to shorter product life cycles, which actually benefit innovative companies like 3M, although they will continue having to invest heavily in their research and development in order to compete. This market is an estimation of 3M's percentage of the market from the years 2012 to 2023. If you look at the industrial adhesives and chemicals, the market share is expected to decrease. This decrease can be explained by a slowdown in acquisitions for this business sector, which have been associated with market growth in the past. The market share for medical supplies and dental products is expected to remain stable. A reason for this is that 3M are now competing in a fast-growing market with lots of niche players, especially in developing countries. The safety and graphics market share is expected to remain stable, as 3M are facing consistent competition both locally and globally. For electronics and energy, it's decreased to around 2018 and then will remain stable. This is due to 3M's patents expiring, and products which they did have some exclusivity for, they're now expected to face increasing competition. The market share for postage, consumer and office products is also expected to remain stable. This is due to 3M's consistent expansion of their portfolio through acquisitions. This graph is an estimation of the market share. Global specialty chemicals market is expected to increase. This could be due to increased restriction across many industries. For example, in the automotive industry, they are now embracing heavy-duty diesel catalysts, which are providing companies like 3M with ample opportunity. Medical supplies and dental product market size is also expected to increase due to demand for medical supplies increasing across developing countries due to aging populations and to developed countries due to aging populations and less developed countries as living standards increase. Increased urbanization is expected to lead to safety, security, and the demand for safety and security equipment to increase. Although the following three markets, the increase is hard to see, they do increase. Global wide format graphics increase could be explained by an increased usage of eco-friendly products as an alternative to your typical products. For example, latex printers are now being used, now being looked upon more favourably relative to solvent printers. Increased demand for consumer electronic products is expected to influence both the optical film market and the electronic chemical market, and the demand for household products should see an increase with increased living standards. Finally, the demand for global office supplies is only expected to increase as we're now seeing a long-term growth in white-collar jobs as blue-collar jobs become more and more automated. I will now hand you over to Arden.
3M are an active organisation in several markets and face plenty of competition in them all, and one of their main rivals is Honeywell International Incorporated. They compete with 3M directly over aerospace and aviation, both commercial and military, specialised performance materials, and automation and control. Per financial data for 2015, 3M, the combined revenue for the industrial and security markets for 3M and Honeywell were $14.5 billion and $9.5 billion respectively. As mentioned by Tom previously, the industrial market provides 3M with a majority of their total revenue, which also happens to be the case for Honeywell too. General Electric is another major rival of 3M, especially in the electrical and energy markets. General Electric is one of the largest, most profitable multinational conglomerates in the world, operating in 8 different segments. Mutual products and services offered by 3M and General Electric consist of high-performance electronic devices, for example, touch-enabled consumer products, power generation, and renewable energy. 3M made $5.2 billion worth of sales in this sector in the last calendar year, but were dwarfed in comparison by General Electric, who made $28 billion more, the large difference highlighting the contrast in size of the two firms. Within the healthcare sector, Johnson & Johnson are one of 3M's main competitors. Both firms offer products and services for consumer healthcare and medical devices. The healthcare sector supplied 3M with $5.4 billion of revenue and supplied Johnson & Johnson with sales of over $35.1 billion. However, it should be noted that Johnson & Johnson are the world's 6th largest consumer health and biologics company and operate solely within the healthcare market, and whereas the same market only accounts for around 1/5 of 3M's total revenue. Moving on, Avery Dennison Corporation competes with 3M in the consumer and graphics markets. Avery Dennison are renowned for their manufacturing of pressure-sensitive adhesive materials and operate exclusively within the consumer and graphics segments. 3M and Avery Dennison are extremely similar, with both companies being leading manufacturers of adhesive, labeling, and graphical sheeting products. Annual revenue statistics for 2015 showed that 3M made $4.4 billion in the segment, whereas Avery Dennison made $4.7 billion, displaying the similar standing of both firms within the two markets. 3M actually tried to buy out the Office and Consumer Products unit of Avery Dennison in 2012 for $550 million. However, the purchase agreement was terminated when the Department of Justice informed the companies that it would file a civil antitrust lawsuit in order to block the deal. This was just before 3M sued Avery Dennison for patent infringement on their retroreflective sheeting, which was Avery Dennison promptly launched a countersuit on grounds of patent and antitrust litigation on 3M, but ultimately all charges were dropped. As it is such a large conglomerate company, outlining every rival of 3M would be impossible, and the companies that have been mentioned are just a select few of 3M's significant competitors within their operating markets. I'll now hand you over.
3M's innovation and R&D processes have allowed it to become one of the most diverse and successful companies in the world. When looking to introduce new products into the market, a variety of standards need to be met, and so a lot of processes take place for this to happen. Many of the reasons for the creation of products can be either for improvements or because a gap in the market has been found. Whatever the case, any new product introduced must meet 3M's criteria. Due to 3M's history, 3M has understood the power of patents, and because of this, the first criteria is that any product that's introduced must be patentable or it can be trademarked. The second is that the product must offer a superior value proposition to consumers. And finally, it must change the basis of competition by achieving a significant point of difference. As well as this, any product that is introduced needs to meet the standards set in the markets that the products are introduced in. At 3M, there's a general 7-step process that is undertaken to get a new product into the market: ideas, concept, feasibility, development, scale-up, launch, and post-launch. However, with any process, it needs to be remembered that it's not always perfect, and a few steps need to be taken backwards before you can move forward. And as well as this, many of the steps are repeated. This is also the same for 3M, and so many stages can be repeated before launch. Also, even after products are launched, 3M continues to make improvements to products already on the market, to either to make new uses for them, or to introduce improved versions. And because of this, sometimes pretty much all the steps are repeated. A good example of how 3M has introduced new versions of its products is 3M's Reptile Grip Glove. After the glove was first introduced, 3M found from consumer test labs that the packaging could be improved and redesigned so that the text could be easier to read. It would not bulk on the shelf and it would be more appealing to golfers. 3M also later diversified the use of the reptile material and introduced 3M batting gloves with reptile grip in 2005. As they found that gripping a baseball or softball bat is similar to that of gripping a golf club, and the material can give a controlled swing with a lighter grip. Product innovation for completely new products has generally been a process that can take years, but at 3M, new products are constantly being introduced. So what might be the cause of this? One of the ways that 3M has accomplished this is because many of the teams at 3M use the lead user system. This approach was initially developed by Eric von Hippel at MIT, and it takes two things into account. First, that many commercially important products are initially thought of and even prototyped by users rather than manufacturers. And second, that such products tend to be developed by lead users. These can either be companies, organizations, or individuals that are well ahead of the market trends and have needs that go beyond the average user. The approach simplifies to 5 main points. First, a multidisciplinary team is formed of members that can be from a variety of areas, from manufacturing going on to marketing. Next, an idea or belief is noted as a foundation on which to do research on. The trends for products in these markets are then researched, after which networking on a very large scale takes place in order to find users ahead in these trends. At this stage, the research teams can be led into different routes which are connected but may seem very different from what they started off in. They are encouraged to do this in order to have the biggest amount of innovation. Lastly, workshops are held between lead users and the team in order to develop breakthroughs in the market. Throughout the process of introducing new products, 3M takes sustainability of their products into account to ensure quality and standards are met. In order to do this, 3M has its own lifecycle management process, which is used to identify and manage the environmental, health, safety and regulatory impacts and efficient use of resources in 3M products throughout their lifecycle to guide responsible design, development, manufacturing, use and disposal. It's included throughout the research and development of products and is there to identify and manage, as well as to manage risks, as well as to identify opportunities arising from innovative environmental, health and safety solutions. In addition to the lifecycle management, lifecycle assessments are carried out to ensure products continue to meet quality and international standards. I'll now hand you over to Tammy.
Listening to my colleagues, it's obvious that 3M is a well-diverse company owning several subsidiaries in various regions around the globe. As we all know, engineers can get registered almost anywhere worldwide. This opens up 3M's employees to different institutes This opens up 3M's employees to several institutes that they can become registered in. And these are just some of those institutes. So we've got the South African Institute of Electrical Engineers in Africa, the International Association of Engineers in Asia, the Institute of Materials, Minerals and Mining, the Institution of Mechanical Engineers, and the Institution of Engineering Designers in Europe, the American Institute of Architects, and the American Society of Safety Engineers in America. Not only do 3M stress their competency side of things, but they also focus on the development of each employee as a person. 3M recognizes that young engineers are eager to get registered nowadays, so they provide professional mentors and financial support throughout the registration process. They also facilitate the development and progression of the manufacturing technology engineers within the organization. 3M operates in various business sectors, one of those being construction. 3M supports the employees in construction towards professional registration through the fire stop training. The fire stop training is a three-level training. Level 1 is an online training, and level 1 is an online training using 3M's training program called e-training. This allows users to train at their own pace, reducing the need for large group training sessions. Level 2 is an on location and job site installation training. A qualified professional meets with the team and decides on how the training will be executed depending on the needs of the team. Level 3 is a 2-day course at 3M's headquarters or test center. The course is qualified under the UL and Intertech guidelines. The whole course is also accredited by the AIA, which means that after completion of the course, that employees can then register with AIA as an associate member. Any questions?
26 minutes, 10 seconds.
Same as the other day.
So, yeah, so basically the section comes up, your introduction was 30 seconds, Sharif was 3:16, Jonathan was at 4:34,